Ah, the springtime. Such a beautiful season. It brings flowers, nice and warm weather, and a week or two of young partygoers. Thanks to MTV, we all know what spring break is about. Young adults from colleges all around, bikinis, debauchery, plenty of beer, the sweet smell of sweat and shame mixed with cheap alcohol, and more than a few bad decisions. If you've ever been on one, you know how it goes. But where did this tradition start? Let's talk about it in this next video. But before we start though, anyone new to Peak Escapes, or if you haven't been around for a while, double check to see if you haven't already subscribed. That's one small button click for you, but for us, it means the world. So smash that like button like there's no tomorrow. And just in case, press that bell icon for future updates. That being said, let's dive in. Well, despite the common belief, it's not something that the new era of television brought to life. And you'd be surprised to know the true origins of spring break can be traced back to Greek and Roman celebrations of spring. But the concept was a bit different. They called it the season of fertility and new beginnings. But can you really celebrate without booze? So, Spring Festival in ancient times revolved around honoring Dionysus and Bacchus, the gods of wine and fertility. The real trend of spring break, or the phenomenon as we should call it, started with a swimming coach from Colgate University in frigid upstate New York in the mid-1930s. He decided to take his team down to Florida for some early training at a brand new Olympic-sized pool in sunny Fort Lauderdale. The idea was so well received by other swimming coaches that before long, spring training became a yearly tradition. The swimming coaches weren't the only ones having big ideas, since you can only swim so much. It turns out these college athletes also excelled in partying. Word got back to campus that Florida wasn't such a bad place to spend your Easter break, and the flow of northern college students to southern beaches started to pick up through the 1940s and 1950s. Fast forward to the 1960s, which brought an uncontested landmark in the history of spring break. A little book originally titled Unholy Spring, but was quickly changed to Where the Boys Are, was published by an English professor named Glendon Swarthout at Michigan State University, who decided to tag along with his students to witness the Easter break and see the shenanigans at play. Hooking up was a word yet to be invented back in the day. It was called playing house. During his visit, he had enough playing house, beer chugging, and beach cruising to fill out his novel, which MGM cleverly and quickly turned into a college romance blockbuster named Where Are the Boys, which made Florida look like an absolute paradise. After the release of the film, the floodgates for spring break were officially open overnight. The number of college students visiting Fort Lauderdale over Easter vacation went from 20,000 to 50,000. And by 1985, an estimated 350,000 students mobbed Fort Lauderdale during spring break. In response, the town passed tougher public drinking laws. The number of students visiting Fort Lauderdale was increasing, but soon other Florida beaches started to pick up the overflow, including Daytona Beach and Panama City Beach. Daytona Beach became the shooting site for MTV's first ever spring break special broadcast in 1986, and by the mid-1990s, MTV's annual Skin Fest had become a cultural institution, showcasing live musical performances and lots of Carmen Electra in a bikini from spring break destinations like Cancun, Jamaica, and for reasons unknown, Lake Havasu, Arizona. Around the same time, another spring break tradition was born far from the beaches of Florida and Mexico. In 1983, some black college students in Atlanta, Georgia, organized a picnic for kids who were stuck on campus over spring break. This was a few years after the #1 disco hit La Freak, and Rick James's Super Freak were still big. So the organizers decided to call their picnic gathering Freaknik. What started as a small get-together with burgers, hot dogs, and boomboxes would soon explode over the next decade into the spring break destination for black college students and high school students and anyone else who felt like coming. By 1996, hundreds of thousands of young black people would cruise into Atlanta for Freaknik, clogging traffic day and night for a multi-day street party. But the party fizzled out around 1999 as the mayor cracked down hard on the cruising. Gone are the heydays of MTV and Freaknik. But is spring break still a big deal in today's college kids' minds? Well, besides having fun, burnt-out college students go all in when it comes to parties and collectively spend roughly over $1 billion each year, which has coined the term the spring break effect. This way, small town shops, bars, restaurants, and hotels make good money, although it can't be considered sustainable since it only lasts a few weeks, and only local industry gets really busy around spring break is its law enforcement. So, what's going to be your spring break destination this year? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. The next video is something you do not want to miss out on if you have plans for this year's spring break. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.